Peace, peace. How's everybody doing? Giving honor and praise to the creator and the maker of heaven and earth. Just want to sit there and take this time out now to speak about how I feel personally concerning the situation in South Carolina. When our people will begin to see that we're not loved in this society, we are not respected in this society, and we certainly are not trusted in this society. When you read the Willie Lynch letter, and it goes into speaking about make sure that you don't trust any blacks, they mean that. In that same Willie Lynch doctrine, it teaches you that they were to teach their children and their wives. So we have to begin to see, as people of color in this society, that they are united, and is not in reference for all of us as humans here in this society to be one. It was never made for such. The history of this place will let you know it was never made for such. When the guy Thomas Jefferson said the statement, all men are created equal, he got flack for that. As Malcolm X pointed out over 50 years ago, if the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment to the Constitution were authentic, there would not be a race problem. Brothers and sisters, we have to begin to see that we are brothers and sisters. Once we begin to see that, a lot of our problems as a people will begin to cease. Chinese people don't worry about being called a racist. Italian people do not worry about being called racist. We are the only people on earth who are intimidated about that terminology. IST is a suffix, a pianist, a dentist. Well, a person who is a racist deals with race. It doesn't really necessarily make you a bad person. When you hear people say things like reach for the stars, or the other term that says black girls rock, is that being sexist? No, because our sisters truly do rock. We as a people need to sit there and envelop a spirit of love for one another, of respect for one another, of trust for one another. And we need to be accountable to our own people and respectful to our own people. This is something that's very, very important for it to be noted. The history of this place will sit there and show you that it is not in reference to your betterment. They try to say in history that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Yet his wife comes from a family that was a slaveholder. Lincoln fired the guy Fremont for freeing the slaves that was in Michigan. The successor of Lincoln was Johnson, and he was a racist in those terms and spoke bad in reference with black people, and he came from a slaveholding family, and Johnson had slaves himself. So we have to begin to see that we are the only people on the earth who sit back and try to find ways to not being called a certain terminology. At this point, when you have people being shot where there are cops attacking black females, We need not fear the terminologies that we will be called. Because at the end of the day, you can't make everybody happy. So everybody's going to find a name for somebody else. You understand? And so, not going to be too long-winded, but just basically need to have love and trust and respect for ourselves. And by the way, this thing that happened in South Carolina, he was taught probably to do that from the people who raised him. Sad to say, it may not be the last time a situation like this will happen. When World War II occurred and America was attacking Japan and Japan was retaliating, did you know that the Japanese people in the United States were put in concentration camps? Why is it in 1989, when Panama, where our people also reside, were attacked, there were no black people put in concentration camps? Because they know good and well that we as a people are not united. That's why they didn't have no worry in American society when they attacked Panama like they had to worry when they attacked Japan. Because they know the Japanese people are united and they know our people are not. So we have to stop having that unhealthy fear of being called a name. You know, the children say back in the day, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt. So we need to sit there and envelop that kind of spirit, even if it's a thing said among children, because they're treating us as if we're not even animals. We have to love, trust, and respect one another. The Bible in Hosea chapter 4, verse 8 says, they eat at the sin of my people and set their heart on their iniquity. Do you understand what that is saying? They eat at the sin of my people. They are the nations. They eat at the sin of my people. You know they're going to sit there and keep on talking about there's black on black crime. So we need to perhaps not forget the evil that's done to you by others, but transform the hatred that we have for one another into loving one another. Then we will severely be unstoppable. Stop listening to these so-called conscious people who want to sit there and perhaps sell you a dream by sitting up there perhaps and telling you, well, polygamy is the way for black people and if we should treat it as a business. We don't necessarily need love. Don't follow that fool around the corner. We do need love. You understand? Because the opposite of love is why we are in the state that we are in today as a people, where we are disliked, disrespected, and nobody reveres us. And we think that if we get over on one another and disrespect one another, that we will be accepted, because then it's impossible then to call a man who hates himself racist. You understand? So, when you have the situation from Hoover and what they call the rise of COINTELPRO, and then you have police attacking black people, black children, and then you have a situation in which people go into what they understand to be a spiritual enlightenment and get put to death. Something has to give. So, with that, I say peace. Shalom.